Jenny Jetson! Hi, everybody. Anyone? Is there anyone there? It's reflective. These are those computer glasses, for blue light and all that. But man, the reflection is like, hello. Hello, everybody. Veronica Weichel style. I'm in the closet. Eventually, I'll come out of the closet, or at least get a chair to sit in here because I'm on the floor and it's hard to get up. But this is depression part 2. I'm in the middle of the 5 stages of grief. This is Jenny Jetson, Surviving to Thriving. Real talk with Jenny Jetson. 5 stages of grief. I'm in the middle of them. The 5 stages of grief are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. I've gone through all of them. I'm on depression, and I realized that I had a whole other page of what to do. I kind of talked about how it manifested in me or how it does. And I skipped this whole other page of, things that I did to manage my own depression, scary, sad thoughts, feeling of hopelessness and alone, not having the energy or care to do much. So it's a happy topic, but it's part of life. And so I'm just going to continue to go through the list because we can never. One of the things I said at the last show was, it's like a muscle, right? Emotions, if you think about them as muscles, right? Getting out of your depression, picking yourself up, that getting out of depression muscle, you can never be too strong at that. You can never have too many tools in your toolbox, right? Your sense of spirit, depression, forgiveness, things that you want to be, you need to practice every day. You can't forgive once and then know how to do it again. You have to forgive all the time. And once you master forgiveness, then you can forgive everyone and everything. And it feels really, really good. So from a depression standpoint, once you figure out how to pick yourself up out of those really horrible places and realize I'm still here, the better you're going to be at it. Don't be afraid to give yourself time and healing. Think of a depression as maybe your healing state, not your hurting state, so that you'll be a little bit kinder with yourself as you're going through that. Okay, so let's talk about depression, baby. So the new brain, right? I still think about this in this day. I'm going to write an article about it. Is it me or is it my PTSD? Because sometimes, it'll still take me longer to do things sometimes, or I'll feel a little bit more scatterbrained, or the words won't come into my mouth as quickly as they did before. That was a really big sign, actually, early on. I was stutter. It's like it was taking the words longer to come out of my mouth. It was taking, right? Um, and I was like, did that just happen just now? But your brain needs to heal, and it's a constant thing. Mental health, I know it's a big topic right now, and I think people are going to learn a lot and figure out the signs in their body that they need to pay attention to, so that when you can sense that it's happening to you, you can have um, a better understanding of how to get yourself out of it. So that was one of the manifestations that, it's kind of the not being able to talk, get word, stuttering a little bit, right? So, yeah, is it me or is it my PTSD? Hard to tell. Could be your new normal. Either way, you're just going to have to accept it and take it with you in your journey along the way. So, think of it as, think of this new you as, you're going to have to take the long road. It is a marathon of life, right? Getting your trauma in check. It's not about getting over it. It's not about never thinking about it. It's not about, um, forgetting and being who you were before. None of that is going to happen for you. Um, but you're going to be able to take it with you. My goal for you would be that you can take your trauma with you throughout your life in a way where it gives you strength and does not torture you, and that you feel good about talking about it, that there is you were proud when you realize what you were able to get through. But it's a long road. And so don't rush yourself, right? Don't think that it's all going to be gone forever. There's always going to be ebbs and flows, but know that you know, enjoy those peaks, um, and know that you have a valley, but you're going to be really good at managing it, right? Because PTSD and trauma, depending on how violent it was in your situation, your brain is not going to act like it did before. And you're going to need to be patient with it and through it, and nurture it so that it can help you move on and move through it. So, um, you know, I have the saying, you know, surviving and not thriving. I thought early on, I was so grateful that I survived. Right, I'm grateful that my life was spared in that moment. That I was not, you know, taken from the world. That I was able to, you know, fight back and figure out a way to get through this thing. So I'm grateful that this happened. But I thought, you know, there needs to be more than just being grateful, or just surviving the situation, right? Because people survive horrific things all the time, but if they cease to really be a person that they are proud of, a whole human. I don't, you know, if you want to be exactly who you were before, go for it. You know, I, I definitely want to do different things than I did before. I care about things. I like myself more now post trauma than I did for sure. I'm way more engaged with myself. I know who I am. I know my strengths. I know my weaknesses. I'm trying to be transparent. There's no hiding any longer, right? In order to move forward, you really have to let go. That's tough for somebody like me. So, you know, from surviving to thriving is the goal. I don't want to just survive this. I want to thrive after it. If I just survived this thing, and it's a miracle that I survived, and that's great. But if I no longer cease to be the Jenny that I loved and adore, if I no longer continue to live a life that I'm proud of, and that doesn't mean any sense of great accomplishment except being a comfortable soul moving around in the world. Sometimes I'm innocent and sweet and childlike, right? With a scrunchie in my hair. Sometimes I'm, you know, hardcore, nothing but business, no excuses driver. All parts of my personality, love them all, right? But if I survived and then hid away, squirreled myself away, didn't engage with the world again, that the you know, the Jenny that survived this event would essentially be dead. If I was too scared to come out of my home, if I let my fears continue to drive me as an excuse to not do things, uh, I know that I wouldn't feel good about myself, and that I would essentially be gone, and the Jenny that I knew would be dead, and he would be successful in killing me. And I didn't want to give this individual the satisfaction of doing that. You don't have that right. I'm survived. I'm going to thrive. I'm going to move through this. I'm going to be more proud. I'm going to help and give back. And you think you're taking me down? I'm going to bring everybody else up with me. Let's all go. This is not happening. It's not happening to me. It's not happening to other people. So, you know, it was all about going, and still to this day, going from surviving this to thriving, or going from, you know, merely being alive. There's a difference between being alive and living. I want to live. I am alive and I'm grateful, but I want to live. I'm surviving, and I want to go to thriving because I deserve it. We all deserve it, and I feel that, you know, again, I'm climbing to the top of the mountain. I don't know what the view is going to be like when I get there, and I don't care. I am on a journey. I'm on a mission, and I want to help people. My life was survived for a reason. But things like this get me excited. And when I'm feeling sad and depressed and lonely, I know that I'm here for a reason. So be sad and be lonely, Jenny, and it's all going to be okay. There's nothing you can do to solve all of your problems right now, but you can be in a good mental state. You can wake up tomorrow with some enthusiasm, and encourage yourself and others along the way. So that's the goal, to be, you know, to go from alive to living, from surviving to thriving. And you know, we really have to be in attendance of our life and participate in it. So, you know, the things that I thought about was, my negative thoughts, I'm going to talk about my negative thoughts. So my really, really bad thoughts, just so you think, oh, I know that I come across as chipper and I've got my hair on and I've got some lipstick on, I'm in front of a camera. I'm talking to basically a mirror image of myself, which is really strange. I'd much rather talk to a human. But, did I think about suicide? Yes. I remember I am definitely part of that I understand what they mean now club. I remember, there were a few times, even not so recently, where, you just have these moments of, I could see how somebody could step in front of that train, right? How easy it would be to, make a bad decision in a moment of panic or concern, or, you're in your head and you're exhausted and you just don't want to do it anymore, but you're the only one who can. I remember I was sitting at a train station, um, and when the trains don't stop through the station, man, it's very dangerous. They just come flying through there. And I remember I was just exhausted and all of this stuff. And I just thought how easy it would be to jump in front of that train, and how easy that is for people to make those decisions when you're in those moments. Did I ever plan it and really think about it? No, but you know, my near death experience, I certainly have a more comfortable relationship with death and what that means in life after death and what that means, um, in a way that I am comfortable with. So you can judge me or not, but I'm comfortable, um, with all of my beliefs. And so I did. I think about that. I thought about that. Um, yeah, even recently, I was having a second knee surgery, and you know, no longer working, and my insurance was going to run out. And I was like, if I don't make it from this surgery, at least there's a ton of life insurance. And, Sydney's life might be easier with all of this financial security and no mom than, a mom and no financial security and watching me struggle through this, right? Those are normal thoughts to have. They're, you know, not great, but those are normal thoughts to have. And I'm honest enough with myself to be able to say, okay, you know, that's nuts. I could see that is a rational thought. I'm worth more dead than alive, right? Um, I don't wish my death, but if I am gonna die, the next 2 days would be the most. Those types of things. So, yeah, suicidal thoughts, I get that, not wanting, just being too exhausted and wanting to throw it in. I think having a daughter and being the sole financial provider and parent, there's a lot of pressure on me to continuously provide and move forward, um, and drain whatever coffers I can drain to keep it up and running until she's off at college. That's the pressure that I feel today, and then I can kind of fall down into a puddle and take a breather. But um, right now I've got a lot to do for me and for her. Let's see, what else? Other things that I would think of is, because I have a physical injury, every step is painful. Not every day, all day. Now it depends. I just had a surgery, so it comes and goes because I'm doing PT. I'm gonna sneeze. Should I sneeze on camera? Well, otherwise I'm gonna have to edit this, Mo, and I don't know how to edit. I got too much to do to worry about editing. We can always redo these later, um, with harsher lighting, but this works for me. So if I sneeze, I'm gonna sneeze, and if I'm gonna burp, I'm gonna burp, and if I'm gonna fart, I'm gonna fart. So that's just life. I'm a girl, and these things happen. Um, I'm not a big farter, so don't wait for that. Let's see. So what else did I thought? Let's see. Constant reminder every step of the way. Yeah. So every step that I take is a constant reminder of what happened to me because it hurts. And that's probably the most irritating thing about this is that I do have a constant physical reminder, and I am trying to figure out to make it somewhat go away so it's not painful. But when I think about the reality of what happened to me, there's a physical manifestation, and I'm constantly thinking about it to get it better, and sending healing thoughts that way, physically, trying to make it stronger. So, but it's exhausting. It's physically exhausting to come back and have surgeries and all of that stuff. um, which can cause to depression and identity. And if I'm not going to be a runner, if I'm not going to be this, what am I going to do? How am I going to stay fit? I got old lady legs and old lady knees now, but I'm becoming an old lady. It's just all of that. You just, gotta let it go. Um, what did I do to deserve this? What's wrong with me? I'm a loser. Nobody's ever going to love me again. I'm no good at anything. I've totally failed at life. I've totally screwed up my kid. This is not the life that I wanted to live. This is the worst excuse. I'm a total failure at everything. Why am I even, I have no idea what I'm going to do. These are rational thoughts. They're terrible, but these are the thoughts that rattle around in my head all the time, still to this day, right now. I don't know what I'm going to do for work. I'm going to find something that's meaningful. If I can figure out how to help people and get my story out and believe and work towards causes that have my values and core beliefs in them, then, and I can make a great living along the way, love to, right? Whatever cause I can do would be great. If I could dedicate my life to making the world a better place, which I'm doing, and get paid for it, that's what I'm going for. But I still have these fears in my brain, but I'm more fearless now than I ever have been, because I know that you can't kill me. I'm a superhero. You should have seen me in action. It's just up to me to do it or not. I'm fabulous, right? I'm amazingly fabulous, and I just need to get to work in the way that I need to get to work on my time frame, and it's going to be great. Let's see, what do I do to, when I'm in this state, this really like, oh, I've just lost 3 days, I didn't get anything accomplished, I haven't written anything, I'm in my head too much, I'm now at home, so there's every excuse to clean and pick up and this and that, and when there's clutter around, it's hard to kind of relax and move forward and create at times. It's an excuse to keep busy, procrastinate. So what do I do to re-engage or turn myself around when I'm in all these negative, depressed states, even when I don't want to? Get out of the house. I get out of the house. Get out of the house. It's COVID-19, so I understand that a lot of people can't get out of the house, but I get out of the house, even if it's to the backyard. I have a dog. I have a big, huge dog, Bruce, who someday you'll meet someday. Let me see if I can get him. Bruce. Get out of the house, go for a walk. Nature for me is great. Any kind of green space, trees, nature is huge for me. So get out of the house, focus on the trees, focus on the grass, focus on the flowers, focus on what is out there, not what's in here. Um, Forces yourself into a different state of mind. Put on music, put on a comedy station, do something where you can listen to anything else besides the voices in your head. If you can physically exercise, do that. Do that. I've been on some great hikes. Sometimes I get my best inspiration. The world comes together and clicks, and I get the answers that I've been looking for when I am exercising. Like a walk and talk. I don't know why we're in conference rooms. Like, I just want to walk and talk because, one, I am an external thinker and processor. And it is helpful for me to get the words out of my body and think out loud on my feet with other people. Bouncing ideas around really helps me solidify the right way to go and how I'm feeling and listening to my interpretation. So I tend to rattle, like right now. And I'll reflect later and pick out the pieces of the busyness. But that's very, very helpful to me. Is a different state of mind, whatever that happens to you, however that happens for you. Let's see what else. Meditation. Yeah, when I'm really, really at an agitated state. So exercise is a big one for me. Walk and talk. That's where I was. The walk and talk is really great. Juices are flowing, body is moving, sense of clarity, and boom, it comes to you. You're my aha moment, right? Meditation, taking a bath, if you don't know how to meditate, if meditation is a scary thing, it always has been for me, as so has yoga, even Pilates, because it doesn't feel like I'm doing anything. Because I'm always after the physical exhaustion workout to relax and calm my body. But now I realize that the mental relaxation, if you can master the mental relaxation, the physical relaxation happens, and then you can just get some exercise at another time. But you don't have to work so hard at relaxing. But meditation can be very, very hard for people to adjust to. I'm going to give you a couple tips right now, and we'll cover it later on. Kind of a mindfulness connecting to your spirit session, where I can kind of go through reconnecting to trust yourself again. But if you have a hard time meditating, take a bath. Take a bath. Take a bath, and don't have any music or media on. If you want to put on a meditation tape while you're in a bath, do that. Don't drown. Do that. But, any kind of quiet state where you can relax and kind of feel is I think a great meditative state. And I'm going to give you one trick about when you are in a quiet meditation state. There's a ton of, YouTube, anything, 3-minute meditation, 2-minute mindful meditation. Hey, Alexa, play a 2-minute mindfulness meditation. No, thank you. I don't know if you could hear that, but she's suggesting, no, thank you. Off, Alexa. She's she wants a 1-minute mindfulness, one that I've used before. No, thank you. Off, Alexa. Alexa, stop. Okay, she stopped. She's a good friend, that Alexa. Anyway, they're all over. They're very easy to find. There's no excuse not to be able just to kind of relax your body for a moment. One of the tricks that I'm going to tell you and how to meditate, or I don't know if it's a trick, but I think it's a really good tool. And if this is helpful for you if this is helpful to you, then great. Your mind is supposed to wander when you meditate, especially early on. Um, don't feel like you don't know how to meditate if you find yourself doing your grocery list, if you find your thoughts wandering off in another direction. It doesn't mean you don't know how to meditate. It just means that you're getting distracted by those thoughts. That's it. Think of your meditative state as a box of kittens or puppies. If you don't like either kittens or puppies, then we're probably not going to be really good friends. I'm sorry if you're allergic to them, but a box of something cute. I'm just going to say kittens. A box of kittens. Just get over your not liking of kittens. Think of your meditation as a box of kittens, right? And they're cute, they're innocent, they're sweet, and they're constantly trying to get out of the box, right? And they will get out of the box. Think of your wandering thoughts as a box of kittens. Now, when a kitten gets out of a box, do you berate that kitten? Do you say, no, kitten, bad kitty? And do you grab that kitten and shove it back in the box? I hope not. No, you just pick the kitten up and you just put the kitten back in the box. The kitten doesn't know what a box means. It just knows that it has to get on the other side of something. Think of your thoughts as a box of kittens, and when your thoughts wander, just gently pick up your thought and put it back in the box. That's all you have to do. When your mind wanders, especially during meditation, it'll wander and things that aren't important, but it also will go off and wonder and bring things back to you that are wildly important. Why is that what I'm thinking about on top of everything else in my head? Why is that what I'm focused on? That's interesting. Oh, wait, I'm thinking about that. Okay, let me go back in there and see where the kitten wanders this time, and what does that have mean for it? So if you're constantly, just trying to connect with yourself and not get upset if your mind is wandering, just bring it back and try and breathe and just, relax for a moment and try and listen to the world around you, or, feel your heartbeat or breathe deeper. That's all it is. It's putting yourself in a relaxed state. And the good thing about meditation, especially for PTSD and trauma, is the quietness in your brain is what it needs to really physically heal and make the connections of the back of the brain and the front of the brain connecting. Again, when you're in trauma and a heightened state of anxiety and something traumatic happens to you, you know, the back of your brain is where all the action is. And this is where the logic and reasoning is, patience, creativity. Um, and so it's getting the blood back up to the front of the brain. You can visualize that in your meditation. That will be helpful. But it's really quieting your mind so that it can heal itself. That's why meditation is important. And just getting out of your head for a while doesn't mean that nothing is going to be going on in that big, beautiful brain of yours. But it means that if you can lessen it and just focus on the things that are coming without you forcing a thought, um, think about that. And I hope that gives you some peace. Let's see, what else? Um, what else did I do? Back of the brain, front of the brain. Oh, so the blue light therapy, the boom, 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 Kit's car. That's something else that I did. What is it called? I'll have to look it up because I'm not gonna be able to remember. MDR. It's light therapy. Basically, what it does in a nutshell, if you've seen it, it's very expensive to do. It's very expensive to find people who will do it for you. And I have no idea why. Unless that machine costs a lot of money, it's a total ripoff. Let me tell you what happens. You're watching this panel, it's about this long, and it has a light, series of blue lights, like a runway, or like the car and Kit. Remember Knight Rider? Except that was red. Vroom, vroom. And it just goes back and forth. And you pretty much tell your story to the therapist that's in the room. And what it does is it takes the memories of what happened to you, which is all in the short-term part of your brain. And by telling the story and looking at the light, it moves it essentially to the back of the brain, so it doesn't come up, it doesn't hit you in the face quite so much. You won't be forgetting it. You're just filing it away in a place that is, it's just not going to pop up in front of you quite so much. You're still going to have to deal with it, or it's going to continue to be in front of you. But that is helpful for a lot of people, especially if you're really holding on to it and you're having a lot of nightmares. And I came up with the poor man's version of it. So it took me 6 weeks to get into somebody. I had to drive 2.5 hours. She charged $350, no insurance. How many times am I going to want to do this? Right. And then it's, this blue light thing. I listened to, I'm not a doctor. I don't condone this. I have not researched it beyond what I'm about to tell you, but it makes a lot of sense to me. And I think, and I've used it and meditated with it and been in the same room with it, and it has helped ground me when I felt like I needed something. And that's what this is about. How can I help you when you're in the middle of something? What did I do that worked for me? So there was this great report on NPR, and it was about light therapy in the brain, and they were shocking animals in the brain and doing blue light therapy. And what they realized was that it was more effective in dealing with trauma and PTSD. I think they were studying Parkinson's, Alzheimer's. I think it was Alzheimer's and the brain overall, right? And how do you stimulate and wake the brain back up, those parts that aren't functioning correctly, that are deteriorating as people are getting older? And what they learned, in summary, was that instead of opening up the brain of whatever they were using, mice, which isn't a good indication of what happens to people, but you have to study something, opening up the brain and stimulating with electrodes and shining blue light in the brain, they realize that through the eyeballs, putting light through the eyeballs is actually more effective than going in the brain. Remember that blue light from Kit? Reprogramming your brain, right? So now they have these Christmas tree lights that are LED that flash. It's the flashing of the lights that has something to do with how our eyeballs and brain process. And in lights, you know, in Christmas tree lights, there's still a flash, but it happens so quickly that you don't necessarily see it happening. Why do I need to go to this therapist? I'm going to get some of these Christmas tree lights and just be bathed in the blueness of these lights. And if is healing the brains in animals for Alzheimer's, and they were going to be testing it on people and they thought it was fabulous, then I'm just going to be ahead of the game, and I'm going to be healing my brain with these blue lights now. So get yourself some blue lights that flicker. I put them in this closet and I closed the door, and I would be getting dressed for the gym and putting my shoes on, right? Having a moment to myself, getting ready. And I would turn these blue lights on, and I would take a bath, and I would just have these blue lights in the room, and it made me feel better. Medically, is it doing anything? I have zero studies, but I will tell you this, placebo works. And if it couldn't do you any harm. So if it feels like that you want to do more, I would look at these lights, get some lights. They don't cost anything. Tell your story, take a bath, sit in a room, bathe yourself in these blue lights, put them up. If you're, you know, if you're having mood lighting in your room, you know, have them be blue. There's something about the color blue, have them be flickering. Bring those into your life. That would be kind of like a, you know, poor man's way to get this really expensive therapy where you may be getting a lot of the same benefits of relaxing your brain, working through your story, and maybe filing it to the back where it's not present so much. So that is another tip for depression and how to get out of it with the worry and the strain. That's about it. Faith. Faith doesn't always need to be a God, which some people are uncomfortable with, you know, spirit and spirituality and God. But, you know, faith is hope. And, you know, to have faith in something, to have hope in something, even if it's faith in yourself, there's still, you know, there's something, you know, it's easier to have something to think about that you're giving your faith to. I mean, it's a leap of faith. You know, it's like love, right? You just have to, how do you know that love exists? Have you ever seen love? Can you touch love? How do you know it exists? It's a feeling, it's an emotion. Um, and you just have to believe that love exists sometimes in order, especially in order to feel it. So again, you know, the muscle of forgiveness, the muscle of love, the muscle of getting yourself out of depression, the muscle of forgiveness. These are tools that we need to be using just as much as every other part of our body to have great mental health and awareness for ourselves and other people. So faith, self-love, self-care, take care of yourself, especially if you're in this deep, dark, scary place. You're going to be there for a while. Love yourself when you're there. Um, just because you're out of it doesn't mean that you might not slide back down. But, you know, every time you're there, don't be mad at it. Just this is what it is. You're just having one of those days, and that's okay. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you made it. I see you. I want you to do and be amazing in your life, and find whatever it is that you want to spend your life doing in a way that you feel good about. You have, if you don't like the person you were before, you don't have to be that person ever again. You have the perfect excuse. Something happened to you. You have the perfect excuse to do and be whatever it is that you've always wanted to do. Nobody is going to stop you now. You don't need anything else. You've got everything you need. Don't let education stop you. Don't let background stop you. Just get out there and do it. Tell people your story, what you've gone through, and they'll let you do pretty much anything. It's impressive. Don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up. It's a journey, right? It's a journey. We're all in it together. It's, you know, we're pieces of puzzle, right? We have to put ourselves back together. We don't know what the picture is going to be on the box, right? Might not be, but we have to put those pieces together. And you need to be well enough. You need to take care of yourself enough. You need to accept help, be patient and kind. And we're in it together. You're going to be okay. We're going to get rid of this trauma. We're not going to get rid of the trauma. We're going to live with it. We're going to use it in a way that is beneficial to us to propel us forward. You have to be on top of it. right? It's a friend. It's always going to be there with us. We're going to make sure that it's under control, right? It's our relationship. And thanks for tuning in. I think we've got one more. So this was depression part 2. I don't know if this is was helpful, but it was on the back side of my page. So this is depression what to, and you know, how it shows up for me, and what I do when I'm in those stages. Ice cream, that helps. Have a great day, and I'll see you at the final of the 5 stages of grief, the you know, the therapist's 5 stages of grief that you will see, which is acceptance. That's a fun one. That's the best one. And you can accept early on. These are not in any order. So if you can accept what happened to you right away, oh my gosh, it's going to even be that much better. So can't wait to talk about it. I think I'm going to just record it right now. So I'm going to have the same clothes on. All right. Thanks. Bye.